Am I live? I tried to go live initially and it like kicked me out and did something weird. So I'm opening the chat. If you will say hi if you're here, let me know if you're here. That would really be excellent for me. um, my name is Robin Whitworth, and I am CEO of the Elevated Mother brand. And I get to teach today on abundance, and I'm super excited about it. Hey, Stacy, thank you so much for saying something. Renee, all the people, please keep saying hello in the chat. Say hello to each other if you want. Tell us where you're tuning in from if you want. I'm super excited to teach this class on abundance. And to kick us off, I would love for you guys to tell me what you believe. Hey, Amy, abundance is. When you think about abundance, and if you've been in my space for a long time, I expect the right answers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Whatever you come up with is fine. I have a lot of fun in my space. We have a lot of really transparent vulnerability in my space. So if I make a joke about something, I'm trying to make light of heavy subjects a lot of times because I have learned that life is not meant to be heavy. Tell me what you think abundance means. If you're like, when I think of abundance, this is what it is. Hey, Latia, thank you for joining us. What is abundance to you guys? When you hear abundance, this is immediately what I think of. No answer is off the table. I mean, within reason, ladies. What do you think of when you think of abundance? What does it mean to you? And I'm okay with silence. So if nobody says anything, then, we just get to wait until somebody's brave. What does abundance mean to you? Put it in the chat. Amy says, having everything you need without worry. More flow beyond that to bless others. Oh, these are such good. I love this. I love this so much. Stacy says, abundance is living my best life. Ooh. Renee says, flowing and not struggling. These are good. What does abundance mean to you? Put it in the chat. Latia says, gratitude for all I have and what will come. Ooh, I love that little last part, a little act of faith there. Yes, so good. So good. What does abundance mean to you, ladies? Put it in the chat. We are having an interactive class today. What does abundance mean to you? We got lots of people on this call. We're going to have lots and lots of people. So tell us what abundance means to you in the chat. And if my team is on, if you could monitor the chat and add to it, that would be fabulous. So one thing that I would love to have you know, Cherie says prosperity. I love that word. I love that word so much. Prosperity in all areas of my life. And all areas of your life can be very personal. What that really means to you. Beautiful, Cherie. I have prayed diligently that the Spirit would be channeling today. That I'm very aware that our connection with Source and the spiritual energy that flows between humans is the real teacher in these situations. How present you decided to be, how prepared you are on the call, how prepared I am on the call, can allow the spirit realm to manifest to us the truth. And I'm really excited to have invited the Spirit to be here. And I know that the spiritual nature of each of us is what's going to teach this material more than I am. And hearing what you believe abundance is helps that flow to begin from you to me through a digital nature. So the more that you talk in the chat, the more that you participate in the questions that I ask, be aware that they're helping me and they're helping you in the flow of the Spirit. So be as active as you can and engage during this class. because it will just, I promise you, I can testify, it will amplify your experience in this class. When you decide your comments are awesome, you belong here, right? This is a decision. You belong here. Your comments are needed, wanted. We are here to share space with you energetically, because clearly we're not here all in the exact physical. So I appreciate everyone talking in the chat, using the chat. And those of you that just joined, we're putting what do we think abundance is in the chat. Rachel says, having the money and time to do what you want and live your best life. Ooh, so good. Yes, 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 yes. When I looked it up in the dictionary, because I put my definition was a feeling of fullness. Like when I feel the most abundant is when I'm just like, I'm over, my cup runneth over is the biblical language that comes to my mind. Like I just am like, I'm so full of love, gratitude, experiences. Like I'm just really full. I feel so full. I find that to be so interesting because as Jesus says, there's opposition to all things. And so often in my life, the contrast of that has been an overwhelming feeling. There's so much in my life. In fact, one of our clients told me in a voice message this morning, she's like, things just have felt really full. And I was like, So it's interesting that we get to remember, and this is a skill we talk about in my Elevated Mother Experience coaching program a lot, is there is oppositional things to help us understand the contrasting events that we will experience on our way to our most abundant, joyful life. So as I'm feeling like, oh, fullness is my way of feeling abundance, fullness is also my way of feeling frustration. So however you're feeling like abundance shows up for you, take a second. If you've got your notebook, I told you to bring a notebook and make note of this. What is a contrasting experience that I feel often? Like let's use Rachel's example if we can. Having the money and time to do whatever I want. Rachel, if you're willing, you don't have to, but I wonder if Rachel also then experiences feeling like she doesn't have money and time to do what she wants in maybe regularly, like, and this is something we would all experience. I would venture to say if everyone was on, I'd say, raise your hand. Everyone has experienced feeling like they don't have enough time for something or enough money for something. But I'm curious if like, oh, she's like, oh, this is how I feel abundant. Does that also mirror how you don't feel abundant? Right? All of your guys' examples, see if that's true for you. If there's a direct kind of mirror opposition for you, where you recognize this and you go, well, the opposite of that is abundance. In many ways, it may not translate in every area of your life directly. But as I prefaced with a post, that unlocking your money limitation thoughts changes your life because how you do one thing is how you approach everything else. So if you are constantly seeing a limitation in one thing, you got to remember that the other side of it is also present in your life, or you wouldn't even see this. You're able to see the contrasting elements to know this is contrast to what you would want or a piece you've been experiencing. And so what does Cami say? That we can all win and all have all the best things in life. Ooh, I love that so much. Ooh, it is a choice. It is totally a choice. What's beautiful is that it's a choice to see them both. Like I was saying, you will always have both. That's scriptural, that's biblical. Both are there. If you're consistently seeing the contrast, I'm here to help you remember the other side is there too, every time. And the choice comes when we go, well, if I'm seeing this, the opposite must be here too. That will always be true. Look for it. Look for it, my friends. Start to look for it. Yes. Cami says, yes, peace, joy, time, means versus stress, struggle, busy, not enough. Yes, so good, Cami, so good. She's picking up what I'm putting down. So good. One of the other things the dictionary said was, well, I don't think I just said mine was fullness. The dictionary said a feeling, which I loved, a feeling. That means it was an emotional experience, a feeling that you have more than you need, and realize that's unique to each of us. Making $10,000 a month would be completely mind-blowing for a lot of people. Making $5,000 a month would be mind-blowing to a lot of people. Making $50,000 a month would be completely like, what? For some people. So realize that the idea that more than you need is subjective to you and you alone. Because God may have called you to a great work, and your need to further that work is going to take some resources. So different levels of money flow might come to you because of your calling and what you've decided to do in life. So Therese Beck, I love you, Therese. She says that gave me truth bumps. Ooh, the truth bumps. Does anyone else get truth bumps? When you said, look for it. Look for it. And it's a skill. You may have been trained either biologically, because our brain is trained to keep us alive. So if you felt a little fear about something, the brain goes, oh, we got to make sure we look for that again. That was scary. But what's so interesting is, again, what's scary to us is subjective to our infancy, our childhood, all the things, right? And so we could be trained up in the way of fear if we grew up in scarcity mindsets or thinking we don't have enough, either financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. All right, guys. Beautiful definitions, beautiful discussion here to start us off. I'm feeling really good about this flow. Yeah, Amy, can anyone just give her a solidarity in the chat, like a little like? She's like, I know we have everything we need, but I'm not yet without worry about it. Thank you for your vulnerability. Yes, yes, yes. Give her a little thumbs up. I can't imagine that that's not true on some level for most of us. Yes, very good. Love it. All right, so I've got 5 things to share with you that that I have been taught by different mentors. As I sat to even ponder what I was going to teach today inside of 30-40 minutes, I'm like, okay, I know that there are at least 5 basic principles that I was taught by mentors that I have now implemented, and I do them all the time, and it has directly affected my views of abundance, my views of being able to choose abundance. And I'm not just talking about money, although money is fantastic. But as I said before, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Like, you approach things with your mindset. So if you're approaching abundance as only financially, you're probably a little narrow in other areas of your life as well. And I'm not saying that to be critical. It just is. And if you are getting a taste of how I am as a coach, welcome to your taste, right? I say it how it is. And sometimes people are offended. It's all right. I'm okay being misunderstood. But I'm also okay to engage in conversation with you after this call. DM me. Nothing's a secret to me. Nothing is a secret. You can ask anything. I am an open door all the time. Ebony says, she's with you, Amy. Yes, all the people. Yes. Yes. Amy, did you guys see her comment? What you just said about our needs being different based on what we're called to or choose just struck me. So can I just choose to need more? I just recognized I feel like I can only choose my wants, and that my needs are already predetermined and related to my basic humanity. So I can't choose to need more. If you guys don't know Amy, she is a great thinker and she asks beautiful questions. Take note of her questions in the chat. You will gain more wisdom for doing so. This is beautiful, Amy. I'm like, oh, go do a journaling on that. Go do a journaling on that. All right. So the first concept we're going to talk about is self-perception. Now, I realized as I was putting the notes together for this class, I hope Heather Shoemaker is on maybe. I've taught individual classes on like every one of these 5. So be aware that if these 5 feel like that's a big concept for me, I'd like that to be fleshed out. I know that I've taught classes on every single one of these, like a full 45-minute class on each of these. So if you're like, I want the full classes on each concept, just drop your name in the chat or tag at Heather Shoemaker and be like, I want to be tagged in the classes that Robin's talking about on this call, and we'll see what we can do for you, okay? So the first concept is self-perception, where you go kind of like Amy's talking about. She's having an awareness. And in the Elevated Mother Experience Coaching Program, these are wins. Anytime you have a new awareness, you now have the power to change something. You can't change something you can't see. So once you have the awareness, you witness it, you're like, oh, I can see this in my life. I am now empowered to do something. I have choice about this because now I can see it. So your self-perception, you go, well, who am I to own this feeling? Do I deserve abundance? Do I even know what it would truly feel like for me? Have I fleshed this out? What would it feel like to me to be abundant? To feel like abundance was just part of my life? What does that feel like? Can I actually articulate the emotional experience? What does it feel like when I am full? When I have more than I need? When I'm prosperous? What would I do with that feeling? Because I can tell you right now from personal experience, if it is foreign to you, you will experience a lot of resistance with abundance. Flesh it out. Begin to own it. I am prosperity. I am abundant. Right? And we're going to talk about that in another one, like kind of these phrases we could use. We can call them affirmations. You can call them I am statements, whatever. Same concept, right? So the first concept that will help shift abundance for you and bring you to the place where you can make a choice about it is to start to own that for yourself. Know what that is for your self-perception. When I look at Robin in the mirror, when I see a picture of myself, I go, yes, she knows abundance. She knows what that feels like. In fact, she feels it all the time. And I know it. I can sit here, ladies, and I put my hand here. For me, this is a heart matter. And I go, thank you, God. I am so full. I have more than I need. I can give generously all the time. Like, I know what this feels like now, but I can share that just 10 years ago, I did not. I did not know. I had not fleshed it out. I had not sat with myself and said, I deserve abundance. I can own abundance and know what that would feel like for me. So flesh it out. In Ephesians 4, 22 through 24. I'm actually going to copy these scriptures if this is going to work for me. Yes. I love it when technology works. Like, it's just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. So in Ephesians, God is teaching us through his apostles, like, you can change. You have an old, in the scriptures, like your old self, but really what it is it's wherever you've been that was not accepting God's full joy and abundance for yourself. And it's like to put off your old self that belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and be renewed in the spirit of your minds, to put on a new self, created after the likeness of God in the true righteousness and holiness. Now, I know from doing a lot of Bible study that we're actually not a new or old self. We've always been that being of light and love. but it's the experience of life and fears that we have that have created this kind of a shell version of us, that we're like scared and we have scarcity. But realize, ladies, inside you, your most natural self believes in abundance. It came here with abundance. That was there. So you get to learn to find it, right? This is so good. Second principle is knowledge and understanding and acceptance that abundance is a flow of energy. Physically, emotionally, financially, mentally. It is an energetic substance. So even though we might see dollars or, the physical, I keep money that I find in random places here in a thing on my desk to remind me that money is always finding me. Money, the exchange of somebody was there melting this metal. Somebody formed it into a circle. Somebody stamped it. Somebody put this into the money system and it found me. This is a direct exchange of somebody's energetics. And it flowed its way to me, and I can exchange it for anything that's 5 cents. Isn't that so cool? Money will always vibrate at the same level of exchange. It has a direct value, whether it's 5 cents or $5,000. Remember that. So when you see a penny on the ground, pick it up and hold it and feel that vibration found its way to you. I do that often. I hold like all these little coins that I have found on my walks on the pavement to the grocery store. These all found their way to me. I decided to pick them up. I decided to choose to believe in the energetic flow. Let's talk about these different areas. So abundance emotionally, what does that look like? Your relationships are genuine, they're trusting, they're deep, or happily superficial. It's okay to have some relationships that aren't like deep and abiding. You feel supported, you decide you belong, you experience unconditional and adoring love. To me, that is abundance emotionally. What about abundance physically? Energy, quality of sleep, how your digestion is working, happy hormones. Hello, any perimenopause ladies. Happy hormones, good stress. That is abundance physically. Do you see how the energetics is a theme here? These are all things that affect the body energetically. What about abundance spiritually? What does that look like? Identify these for yourselves, friends. What does it feel like for me to have knowledge and understanding that abundance is an energetic flow? What does that look like physically for me, emotionally for me, spiritually for me, financially for me? For, in most realms, spiritual abundance is something like you feel God, you know God, you're connected to the source of the earth's energetics, your source, like all life knowledge that you're made of the stars, you're part of a bigger picture than you see here. You know that this physical experience is not all there is. You have an abundance of spirituality in your life. It expands you to have this. What about abundance financially? If you guys have thoughts about this, please put them in the chat. Engage in the chat. It will affect your flow of energetics right now. Collective energy is a real thing. Engage, share your thoughts, comment on each other's thoughts. Create an energetic flow around this information today. What about abundance financially? Flowing money values. It comes in and it goes out. It must be a flow. The opposition has to happen. It's part of our progression. It's part of the whole experience. The money must come in and the money must go. Years ago, one of the first things I learned about this was to say, I earn money to spend it. Because that was true. The whole reason I was going to work, when I used to go to work, I was a college professor. And I would go to work and I had these contracts and I would earn so much per credits that I taught and blah, blah, blah. And I had different stipends, right? It was like I was trading this, and I would go to work and I would earn a certain amount of money and I would try to keep it, put it in a savings account forever. And you can do that, but my mindset at the time was in scarcity. I have to save for a rainy day. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, oh my goodness. Money doesn't grow on trees. All of these ideas that are very rooted in scarcity, right? And so I would, when I started saying, you know what, I earn money to spend it, because that was more true. I earn the money so that I can buy groceries, pay for my kids' piano lessons, so I can go to Disneyland, right? Like, I'm earning this to spend it. And what am I doing that for? Because true prosperity is when you look around and you're like, oh my gosh, I have a phone, lip gloss, got my Post-it notes, I've got multiple pairs of glasses. Oh my gosh, I'm just looking at my office, right? I've got passports because I travel. Prosperity is everywhere around me. I exchanged money for all of these things, or some type of energetic. Even if it's your free, we got a free, beautiful mahogany dining table because it was sitting on the side of the road with a free sign sticking on it. I don't care. I've learned not to judge if it was charity or free or whatever. It flowed to me and I got to choose to partake of that energy, right? Remember that it will flow in and it will flow out. Just like Jacqueline says, the more generous that we are, more money finds us. That's a faith principle. The flow gets to be both ways. And like I said, I've done an individual call. I've done actually 3 different calls about how we doubled our income, how we tripled our income, how to call forth more money in your life. So if you're interested in any of these calls, tag Heather Shoemaker and be like, I would like to be tagged in the recordings. They're inside this Circle app. We've put all that stuff in your video library. You could even go in there and search by word, search money, search abundance, search income, and all those classes will come up. Okay. Use the video library in here. It is gold. It is gold. You'll get years of teaching, coaching, all the stuff in there. So let's talk about a scripture. And this just goes right along with Jacqueline. Jacqueline's so great. Luke 6:38, generosity. Give and it will be given to you. A good measure pressed down, shaken together and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So if you're tight, your money is tight. If you're tight in your spirituality, you will be tight in other areas like money. And if you're really tight in your money, you will be tight probably in your marriage, your parenting, other areas. Be aware of this and be like, ooh, I want to have the knowledge and understanding of the flow that I get to give, and I get to have, and it's all good. That's the flow that we're looking for. Concept number 3, ownership of your experience, empowerment versus the victim. I did another whole class on this. Victim versus victor. You can go search it, whatever it is. No one is in charge of your happiness or abundance except you. You are in charge of your perspective. You are in charge of your experience. You really are. Your husband is not in charge of your happiness. Your boss is not in charge of your abundance. There is no one else that's in charge of your experience except you. Claiming ownership. I remember when my mentor was like, Robin, own it. Own this. But I hadn't done the self-perception work in step 1. I hadn't fleshed out what I could even own. I didn't know what it looked like. So do step 1. That's why it's step 1. Do not skip it. Flesh out what you're about to own. Then get to step 3 after you've understood what the flow is. And then you come to step 3 and you're like, oh yeah, I got this. I can do this. This is up to me. I got this. We have so many examples throughout the scriptures I'm going to drop another scripture here. Samuel. First Samuel. Let me write it down. I don't know why it's not copying very good. This is from the Old Testament. Guys, I love paralleling the scriptures if you haven't noticed. Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in thy words, because I feared the people, and I obeyed their voice. He wasn't living true to himself. He was scared of the people. He was scared of the outside influences. He felt victim to them. So he did what they wanted instead of what he knew inside. He didn't own it. How many times do we act out of fear of interest rates? We act out of fear. What's the community going to think if I buy this boat? What's the community going to think if I do this work? What will my mom think? You know, this kind of goes into that. Am I worrying about other people's experiences, or am I just owning mine? So ownership of the experience. You're not a victim to whatever you're experiencing. You are the one that's deciding that experience. So decide to have abundance. Decide this. It's a decision. That was so huge. I know I put that in my post when my coach was like, Robin, it's just a decision to be financially abundant. It's just a decision to be financially strapped. And I was like, what are you talking about, lady? Like, no, it's not. You're telling me it was just a decision that I have a medically complex child that we get to shell out tens of thousands of dollars per year for? That's just a decision I made? What are you talking about? In the Elevated Mother Experience program, we flesh that out for you. Why that is what that is. How to gain ownership over hard things. How to conquer that through Jesus, through coming home to your own awesomeness. So if this is a hard concept for you, my heart is with you. I'm linking arms with you. If this is a mountain you're afraid to climb, but you believe you can, talk to me. Talk to one of my team. We will link arms with you and help you up this mountain. We will. It's possible. We have example of our clients overcoming scarcity, overcoming fears around money, overcoming victim, and learning that they are the victor of their lives. It is so beautifully powerful. Go into our testimonial library here on the app. Watch some of them. Huge shifts in a matter of months with our process. Oh, I love that, Renee. What a great reframe that you've decided to have. Concept number 4, make the decision. Make the decision. So 3 was like, okay, I'm going to take ownership. I'm going to know that I'm not a victim here. Step 4 says, make the decision. A decision that you are not someone who struggles with money or sleep or friendships or knowing Jesus. Make the decision. I don't struggle with this. And if it feels foreign and hard, good. Then you have somewhere to go. That's progression. In direct translation, in the Hebrew characters, that's heaven, actually. A state of heaven is a state of progression. Isn't it empowering when you feel like you have the next step? I just got through the legal battle with my daughter's insurance for her hearing device because she's deaf. And anyway, there was nothing worse than feeling powerless when the companies are like, no. And you're like, oh my gosh, who am I in little Idaho to battle this and say, I don't accept that answer? And have everyone telling you, no, it's not possible. No, it's not possible. No, it's not possible. And I was like, no, I do not accept that decision. And I was able to stand in my power in neutrality and calmness, battling through that because I had made the decision that that was not what was going to happen. And I had a lot of practice. I had a lot of practice having abundance of friends and people that supported me, doctors that were on my side and wrote the letters and put in all the stuff so that we won the case, right? Even the small steps taken feel powerful. Oh, so good, Heather McCafferty. Yes. Nothing happens except by small steps, actually. Nothing. Everything is an incremental thought. Everything comes by these increments. You make a decision today, friends. Put it in the chat if you want. I'm making the decision. I am making the decision. Let's drop a couple of affirmations. I'm gonna put this whole thing in the chat that I wrote down. I'm always making more money. These are things you can start saying to start rewiring to accept that decision. It will take rewiring. It will take coaching. I can promise you. So if you need support in this area, you haven't been successful in this area before, get some coaching on it, whether it's from me or someone else, whatever, it's going to change your life, because once you become abundant, and you're believing it, you will see it. It will start happening for you physically. It'll start happening for you mentally. It will start happening for you financially. It may kind of go like this, but it's happening. I promise it's happening. I'm always making more money. I love money. It's always flowing to me in so many different ways. I always have more than enough. I see prosperity in every corner of my home and city. I have energy when I choose it. I love knowing that going to bed by 10 is leading me to a more miraculous life. What a simple task. I have no doubt that God is with me all the time. I can feel and hear God at any moment. Jesus desires my happiness and joy and ease in life. I love knowing his teachings are timeless. This is rewiring, getting coaching, surrounding yourself with people who believe this. Get in the room where this is normal. I'll never forget when I was making a post that I had my first $20,000 month a couple of years ago. And one of my clients was like, my husband saw your post and he's like, nobody makes that kind of money unless they're scamming people. And I was like, oh, clearly this person has not been in the room where this is normal. Guys, there is hundreds of thousands of people that are making a lot of money and they're not scamming people. They know that there's more than enough in this earth to give every single person the opportunity to make millions should they choose it. It's just people don't choose it. It's not a bad thing. I'm not judging it. If people don't choose it, that's okay. That is their experience. If you would like more money to flow, then you get to ask for it and be prepared for that kind of belief. Okay? Yes, Amy, so good. Ooh, Renee, so good. Yes, I love that. Yes, Jacqueline, in your own world, that's important. It's up to you, right? So the last one here is belief in God. Faith that what he said in John 1:3 is true. All things are already there. Thereby, you guys, need denotes that something is absent. You realize once you believe, once you choose to be like, oh, God already made everything. Everything's already there. Everything's just energetics. It's like what Jesus, when he's like, ask, believing you'll receive, you'll get it. It's written in the scripture multiple times. How come we don't believe that? How come we don't believe? We can't just believe something, have faith, and that it will really come. That our energetics, our feelings starts to shift around us for those things to become aware to us. All the money already exists. You have just chosen to not be aware of it. Through him, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. And there's another scripture, I can't remember which one it is, but it's like he's made things seen and unseen. Everything is premeditated in a human's brain before it comes into the existence. It's a spiritual process of creation, but it begins with faith. That you believe the concepts are there, you believe the molecules are there, you believe that the money is there, then you act that it's there. You move from that feeling. Step one, move from that feeling. So what we've just talked about, be the person that chooses abundance. Re-identify for yourself. Get clear on it. Choose to believe abundance is an energetic substance that we choose to allow to flow for us in any realm of our lives. Own the experience, claim your agency, reclaim your power, make the choice, claim the journey you're about to go on, commit to learning this and practice it, move in faith towards this choice and keep choosing it. So many people choose, okay, I'm choosing $10,000 a month, and 2 days later, they don't. People that have mastered this simply keep choosing it. They keep choosing. Just like I wrote in my post in preface to this class, I chose to have $1 million year with my business. I chose to pay my team $10,000. Is that happening for me all the time? No, but it is happening step by step. I keep choosing that is happening. So I keep looking for it and I keep working in inspiration for how this is coming about. And thereby, every single year, we're making more money. Every single year, my team, right, is getting paid more. Like it will happen. I have perfect faith that my success is a certainty. And when I believe that and things feel like they're up and down, I go, oh, who do I talk to? What book do I read? Where do I get in this space? If my success is certain, then where do I go here? That's a great question for all of you. If my success is certain in my health, if my success is certain in my money, if my success is certain in my spirituality, who do I talk to? Where do I go? What kind of room do I get in? If this is certain for me, there's a place where I'm going to learn more information so I can witness what I need to witness and start changing it. It is a choice, though. This is a choice to enter in on this journey. You can choose to have a different experience. All right. That's all the information I have for you today for this group. And again, if you're interested in the Elevated Mother experience, being coached through these kind of concepts and more, this is basically the framework of our program, is the identity and the framework and the clarity, and you know what I mean, getting you to those points of choosing those things and upholding it and having the coaching of getting through. So if you're interested in our Elevated Mother experience program, drop EMX in the chat and our team can reach out to you and let you know the details on what that looks like. I'm going to end this stream and then we're going to go into our client only space and do Q&A and coaching, more coaching on this concept. So have an amazing weekend. I love that you're all here. Like I said, I'm an open book. Message me either in the Circle app or DM me on Facebook, whatever it is. I'm happy to answer any questions, talk about my experiences. It's all there. So I love you all. Have an amazing day.